What's good, sports family? So we are back with another live. As you guys saw from yesterday's game, I went over the fantasy for yesterday's game, and I'm shocked that the 49ers and Rams game came up to a final overtime. Insane. Mac Jones looks like prime Steve Young or Joe Montana, you want to say. CMC did his thing. The wide receivers for the 49ers looks like they're like Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel back in the day. And then you had the Rams, Devontae Adams, Puka looked like they were just amazing. And then Williams did good. Matthew Stafford did his thing. I think he had 300 yards, something like that. I saw one of my boys had Matthew Stafford on the bench for 51 fantasy points. Insane. Uh, yeah, very. I was shocked because I thought the 49ers wide receivers were not going to do that good. And then the Rams defense, and then 49ers defense is a little bit shaky, but shocking from that. But 49ers end up winning 26-23. And yeah, let's move on to the wide receivers today. We did running back yesterday, quarterback in the morning yesterday, and then yeah, I'm gonna do wide receiver. So we got Vikings versus Brown. Let's talk about the Vikings right now. So as you know, Carson Wentz is still the quarterback, and he's been doing really amazing with the Vikings wide receiver. You would think he wouldn't, but he's doing really good. Justin Jefferson's going off. Jordan Addison literally just joined like what a week or two ago. He's been doing pretty good. So you see that he has a lot of connections with those guys. So I would definitely start Jordan Addison. I think I said Madison. My apology. So Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson definitely should start for the Vikings. I don't know why I'm all over the place right now, but start those two wide receivers. Browns defense a little bit shaky right now, especially in the secondary. So look for the Vikings wide receivers to do their thing. Honestly, should be starting them every single week. Both players are really good on the wide receiver position for the Vikings. Now, as for the Browns, it's a little bit shaky because, as you know, Tillman is out for a little while, so he was the second key piece for the Browns wide receiver room. Now, Jerry Judy's going to be taking up the most of the load, because Tillman was the guy that was there for Joe Flacco, and then was supposed to be there for Dylan Gabriel. But definitely start Jerry Judy. I would try to avoid Isaiah Bond and Jameer Thrash because they don't really have that connection with Dylan Gabriel at that type of level. This is what I think. Maybe they do because they did, practice. They practice with him and stuff, but it's too much a risk. Plus, a really good Vikings secondary is really risky to really put them in. So I would just start Jerry Judy. The other two guys should not start right now. So that is the first game in London, and then Cowboys versus Jets. I'm gonna say this: Jets defense aren't the greatest, but I'll say the fact that the only player you should honestly start for the Cowboys wide receiver is like George Pickens because CD Lamb's out. Prescott's been throwing to him a lot. You could like flex Jalen Tolbert, or Ryan Florence, if it's his last name right. You could kind of flex them, but I would rather you start George Pickens than like flex the other two guys because it's just like a hit or miss. Some of these guys, they're gonna get you like what 10 fantasy points the most. I mean, if you're cool with that, fine. But I really wouldn't really like start the other wide receiver unless you have like a Demonte Adams type or a Puka on one team and you have two wide receivers who definitely get the ball. Then okay, but you have guys who are really don't have that much connection and they're just a hit or miss. I wouldn't risk it. Now, as for the Jet, definitely start Garrett Wilson every single week. Do not touch Alan Lazard, pointless. Josh Reynolds, pointless. Aaron Smith, pointless. So don't touch any other wide receivers besides Garrett Wilson. So definitely start Garrett Wilson, but avoid the other Jet wide receiver because it's pointless. As for the Giants versus Saints, this one is a little tricky for the Giants because they're out without Malik Neighbors, and they're also out with Daquan Felton. So those two guys are pretty kind of important. But I would say, hmm, I would say this: I have a better trust in these two wide receivers than in the other teams that I suggested, which was the Jets and the Cowboys, because my bad, it's cold right now. Wando Robertson is pretty much trustworthy in Darius Slayton, especially Darius Slayton is much more of a healthy, more stable wide receiver. I would definitely bet on to like start over Wandell, but Wandell is another player you definitely should start too. I think both of those players will get a lot of snaps. Do not start Jalen Height. No, I would bench him. I feel like Jackson Dart has more trust in Wandale and Darius than Jalen, who definitely started the other two over Jalen. Now, as for the Saints, this one's a little bit tricky because the thing about a lot of these teams is that you're so used to having like two really good wide receivers or one and somewhat of a decent amount behind them. But it's really, really risky because a lot of times some of these like wide receivers, like you would think Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Brandon Cooks are definitely startable, but to be honest, they're not because of Spencer Rattler as quarterback. If you have a different quarterback like Derek Carr, oh, of course, starting. But Derek Carr retired. So I would say like it's either like if you want you can start Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. That's if you like don't have anyone else that's good in your third or second wide receiver room. But I would not start Brandon Cook. I would sit all three of these wide receivers. I just don't trust Spencer, and they're just. It's not like they have consistent amount of fantasy points every single week. It's like 1 minute they drop 20, 1 minute they drop 10, 1 minute they drop 7. So it's like so inconsistent. Now, what else? I just hear something a little shaky. Um, Someone knocking the door, I think. Oh, whatever. So now, I lost my chair of thought. Raiders versus Colts. Let's do the Raiders. Raiders a little bit. It's a little bit. Hmm. Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton. Don't start Dante Thornton Jr. Wide receiver number 3. Definitely start Jacoby Myers. And I would say flex Trey Tucker. I feel like Trey Tucker can get involved once again. He dropped 51 points like what 2 weeks ago or something. So definitely start Trey Tucker as your flex, but start automatically Jacoby Myers. Um, yeah, but I really don't trust Geno Smith. So if anyone better than them, definitely start the other players over Myers and Tucker. Now, as for the Colts, questionable Michael Pittman Jr., Alex Pierce. So they're questionable, but I feel like they might be cleared, so you should be fine. We'll definitely start Michael Pittman, flex Alex Pierce. Now, if they are not in it, I would start Downs, to be honest, over the other guys. Might have more of a better connection than backups. It's all up to you on how you want to rotate your roster, but I would try to avoid the other two wide receivers if Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce misses this game. Now, Dolphins and Panthers. Let's start with the Miami Dolphins. You got Jalen Waddle, the number one wide receiver now, since Tyreek Hill is out for the rest of the year. So I'm going to say the fact that you should definitely start Jalen Waddle. Malik Washington and Nick Westbrook. I feel like Malik Washington is gonna clearly be the wide receiver 2 over Nick Westbrook. So definitely flex Malik Washington. Do not start Nick Westbrook until maybe like next week. If he does go off this week, then flex him next week. But right now, no. As for the Panthers, I'm gonna say the fact that oh man. Don't start Hunter Renfro, he's trash. Xavier and McLean, one of those. I don't know. I can't pronounce those guys, but I would say McLean. I can't pronounce his first name, bro. It's Tetairo A. I can't pronounce it. But start him and Xavier. Start both of them. Definitely will get a lot of the snaps. Now, as for the Broncos and Eagles, I'm gonna say that let's start with the Broncos first. The Broncos, I'm gonna say that definitely start Courtland Sutton. Troy Franklin, yes, but flex him. Marvin Mims Jr., he's questionable, but if he does play, I wouldn't really start him. He's very risky. Unless for some reason like Courtland Sutton or Franklin misses, then yeah, flex him. Because he'll definitely get involved. That's how Bo Nix, he targets everyone. Then Eagles, A.J. Brown, Smith. Uh, I would try to sit them because they're going to verse a very good secondary of the Broncos. But I would start both of them, to be honest. If you have nobody else, yeah, just start both of them. Now Texans and Ravens. It's a little bit of a iffy on both sides. Texans, I don't trust their O line, so look for CJ Stroud to get mauled by the Ravens defense. I feel like, but if you want me to say Xavier Hutchinson, Christian Kirk, Nico Collins, definitely start Nico Collins. Flex Christian Kirk. Xavier Hutchinson, I wouldn't start. Now, as for the Ravens, Flowers easily starting. No question about that. Bateman and DeAndre Hopkins, both of them can be flexed. Don't start, but flex them. Now, as for the Titans and Cardinals, do not start any Titans wide receivers. Don't trust them whatsoever. It's so risky and so pointless. Don't start any of them. Now, for the Cardinals, start Marvin Harrison Jr. and just sit Michael Wilson and also Zay Jones. But Zay Jones is questionable right now. But just start Marvin Harrison Jr. The other guys just they don't get the ball. I don't know why. It's weird. Uh, I don't know why Kyler Murray does that. He just targets tight end and Marvin Harrison Jr. What is the point of having the other wide receivers not going to throw to them? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Buccaneers versus Seahawks. Let's start with the Bucks. The Bucks have Chris Godwin back his second week in a row, and he's trying to get back into his mojo. So definitely start Chris Godwin. Just know he may not be 100% yet because of the second game back. Now, as for Sterling Shepard and Mika Abuka, is his name right? I would say Emeka Abuka start, and Sterling Shepard could be your flex if you want, but I kind of would avoid him at the moment. As for Seattle, uh, Seattle, man, I don't know what's going on with Cooper Cup, bro. Like, he hasn't been the same since he left the Rams. I think he's just older. Maybe just the system doesn't fit him. I would try to sit Cooper Cup. If you want, you can flex him, but it's like so pointless because he hasn't really done a lot. Jackson Smith, definitely start Jackson Smith. And Torrey Horton was sit automatically on that one. Now, as for Lions versus Bengals, start all Lions wide receivers, all three of them. I don't trust the Bengals defense whatsoever. I'm not going to go over the wide receiver for the Lions. As for the Bengals, man, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I really wanted to start. I mean, definitely start Jamar Chase every week. Higgins, I mean, I guess you can start both of them, but just know you're not going to get a lot of fantasy points. I can't suggest you to sit them because who else is better than them? And yes, you have a crappy quarterback, but what are you going to do? There's no one else that's going to really fill in unless you have like St. Brown or you have a Keenan Allen or if you have like, uh, you know, Flowers or Waddle, you know, or Jefferson. If you have someone like that, then okay, replace them for Chase and Higgins. But if you don't, then you're just stuck with them. Now, as for Commanders versus Chargers, Terry McLaurin is out this week. Then Debo Samuel, I think it might be out. Let me double check that because I'm not really sure. I keep hearing like news that he might be out, questionable right now. So if Debo Samuel does play, it's going to be Debo, Luke McCaffrey, and I think Chris Moore, if I'm correct on that. So look for Debo, the start Debo, start slash flex Luke McCaffrey, and then Chris Moore or Jalen Lane don't start. But I would say like if Debo does sit out, start Christian McCaffrey, not Christian McCaffrey, Luke McCaffrey, which is Christian McCaffrey's brother. Start Luke McCaffrey, he'll get a lot of the targets. Chris Moore, start him too. And I mean, if you want, you can flex Jalen Lane, but that's if Debo's out. Now, as for the Chargers, I would say, let me check. Keenan Allen definitely start. Quentin Johnston definitely start. Lane McConkey, I know people are like very disappointed in him this year, but he hasn't really. I don't know what's wrong, bro. Last year he went off. Sit Lane McConkey. I don't trust him until he gives you one good game. If you want, you to flex him, but I wouldn't really risk it. It's very risky to even start him right now. He's been doing pretty bad. Now, as for the Patriots versus Bills, Stephon Diggs start, Boyd start, Matt Collins sit. As for the Bills, I would say start the Bills wide receivers, honestly, like all of them. Let me just double check. In case nobody's injured. Okay, Coleman start, Khalil start. Josh Palmer can be your flex, but I wouldn't really trust him. I feel like Dalton Kincaid can involve a lot, so it's gonna be pointless the flex Palmer, in my opinion. Now as for Chiefs, the Chiefs. Xavier Worthy start, Hollywood Brown flex, Juju Smith-Schuster flex. Yeah. Everyone else, yeah, they don't really get the ball at all. As for the Jaguars, let's see. Brian Thomas Jr. definitely start. Travis Hunter, I would like flex, but I wouldn't really start him. He hasn't been that good. And then Diami Brown, I wouldn't really touch him. But it sounds like the Jaguars are pretty much aiming for Brian Thomas Jr. a lot and Travis Etienne a lot. For some reason, they don't really throw the ball that much with the other guys. Interesting. But yeah, guys, that is the wide receiver starting to sit for today's live. If I missed any, let me know in the comments. Excuse me, I literally woke up like an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, and I just went to the gym, and I don't know how I'm so tired. But yeah, my apologies, Yoni. And yeah, guys, let me know what other players want me to do next. My apologies. I deleted a lot of the shorts on our YouTube because we're changing the channel up a lot, and I could just tell it kind of like impacts the channel a lot. We haven't got like not that many views because ever since we deleted a lot of the shorts, it like threw off our analytics a lot. So we're kind of back to square one, but we're still pushing it. I don't know, YouTube something else, but what are you gonna do? And I'll see you guys in the next video.